Of course, people sometimes vary considerably in what and whom they find attractive. These differences are caused by individual preferences but also by cultural conditioning. However, there are certain characteristics of a face that most people associate with beauty. This video gives you an overview of the 8 most important ones. Mediocrity. Although run-of-the-mill faces are considered boring because they don't have any distinctive or otherwise exclusive features, they are still rated as particularly pretty in attractiveness studies. This applies both to subjects from industrialized nations and to African hunter-gatherer peoples. One possible explanation is that people with average faces have a greater diversity of genes, which makes them particularly resistant to diseases. Another explanation is that it's easier for our brains to recognize and retain average patterns, which we therefore perceive as more attractive. Youth. People who look young are more attractive to most people than those with older facial features. In the course of human development, this may have meant an evolutionary advantage, because young partners are usually more vital and fertile. In behavioral research, we speak of the so-called baby schema, which means, for example, a large head with a dominant forehead region, big, round eyes, a small, short nose, a little round chin, a pouty mouth with thick lips, round cheeks and an elastic soft skin. The combination of stimuli in this scheme works across different species and triggers caring behavior and feelings of affection. Symmetry. The more the two halves of a person's face match, the more beautiful we find them. Males with high symmetry were rated better in trials, and particularly symmetrical individuals were also the more popular sexual partners than the less symmetrical ones. Apparently, symmetry is a sign of high gene quality. As studies show, people with particularly symmetrical bodies are actually healthier too. Slenderness. We generally find people with a low body mass index more beautiful than those with a higher one. Only those who place a lot of value on the health of their partner tend to like rounder faces on average. But there's no need to panic. Psychologists Sarah Johnson and Renee Engeln from Northwestern University in Illinois found out in a study that both men and women greatly overestimate how attractive the opposite sex finds very slim partners. Femininity, masculinity. Women with particularly feminine features and high estrogen levels are considered especially attractive by men. Conversely, the situation is less clear. Some women regard men with pronounced masculine traits as dominant and emotionally cold. One possible explanation is that an overly aggressive and dominant man could be dangerous to the woman and her children. Preferences diverge further here. Complexion. We perceive a reddish skin color as healthy and beautiful. It indicates high oxygen saturation and blood circulation in the skin. Those who eat a lot of carrots and red peppers are also rated as more attractive in various studies. The plant pigments contained in the vegetables changed the complexion to a yellow-orange tint. By the way, we humans are not alone in this.
It is known that carotenoids play an important role in the courtship behavior of many animal species,
writes Yong Ji Fu of the University of Western Australia. Habit. The more we see something, the more we like it. Psychologists call this phenomenon the mere exposure effect. It also applies to faces. Subjects rate a person as more attractive if they have previously seen someone with similar facial features. Incidentally, this phenomenon could also explain why we find ourselves more attractive in the mirror than in photos. Because we see ourselves inverted in the mirror, but not in photos. And we know our mirror image much better than our actual appearance and therefore often find it more attractive. Charisma. According to various studies, personality traits are among the most important criteria when choosing a partner. So, it's not surprising that we find those faces particularly beautiful that show us the respective favored disposition. By the way, charisma is also important in political elections. Apparently, candidates who look particularly attractive are not the most likely to be elected. Rather, those who exude the most competence win the elections.